Alright, welcome back to day 340. We are so close. Yay. We're so close, yet I have stuff coming up within those 20 days that I have to start getting up earlier than I normally do, and just more stuff in the day, which sucks because I don't want to do that. Also, I'm freezing cold. I don't know what happened, but the temperature decided to drop severely. Yeah, and also the kid in my sister's class has been confirmed had COVID. My sister should be fine. Didn't hang out with them, but apparently they do have COVID. They're just asymptomatic, which is fantastic for the kid. Like, absolutely fantastic. I don't want that to switch. I mean, she's like a child. No, obviously no kid should have COVID. Like, no one, like, that's just horrible. But it's not great because that means there was a kid in the class that my sister works in that that has COVID. Like, she's no longer, or they're no longer in the class. But that sucks. So they've been home for a while. The problem is, if you're asymptomatic, when do you know you can just send your kid back in? Like, you're asymptomatic, but you don't know. And apparently the other sibling of that kid, I can only assume, isn't asymptomatic. Or was it the mom? I don't remember anymore. Whoever it was, the other relative that lives in the house, isn't asymptomatic. Like, they have symptoms, which sucks so much. But anyways, so we'll see what happens, because obviously we don't want more people to get COVID, which is why we haven't been going out. And if we can, like, place a free pickup order, that's what we do instead. But oh boy, just like, theoretically we could have it, other people in her class could have it, it could have spread to the rest of the class because they weren't sectioned off. And this is not on. Why isn't it? It's just like, wants to show off my shoulder. Can you please stay, like, on my shoulder? So yeah, very, 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 very serious situation with COVID. Like, it is the second highest peak in history. It's the second wave. Delta variants. Kids can't be vaccinated yet. But yet somebody in my family, in my direct family, went, yeah, let's go hang out with friends, and decided to go to a restaurant, and then a store, which in the store and stuff, whatever. Why couldn't you just hang out in somebody's house? That would only be 3 people that could potentially get COVID. And again, like, the day after that, my sister's like, yes, the person in my class has COVID. We should be okay, however, just in case. It's like, why did you decide to go to a restaurant when it's peak COVID again? You know what I'm saying? And then the why is it so dark? Better. Anyways, talking about spiders, potential spiders. Potentially there's a spider around me right now. Okay. So what happened was, just like previously, there was a spider walked toward the same kind of area in front of me. And I looking at him, he walks over here, right? He gets next to me and I'm looking at him and I'm like, hey, if I look away, he's going to book it. And I don't want him to book it. Could you grab him? And the family member came down and did a grabby thing for bugs because it was huge. It was a huge spider. Huge. Anyways, so sees the giant spider and grabs it, but it doesn't grab. He runs away in an impossible catching area. Luckily, doesn't run up on my side table here, which is what it wanted to do, but luckily didn't. But so what happened is, he's just somewhere. I have no idea where. Could be on anything, anywhere. Big spider, like, ouch! If he bit you, that they would hurt. Big fangs. Big fangs. So yeah, so one night he was standing there, and I recorded him. But what happened is, as they were sitting there, a cricket, one of those really big crickets, smaller actually than the spider, so it's like whatever size the cricket was, the spider was a little bigger, walks out, and I'm like, where are you? Why is there a cricket now in my house? Like, I'm like, what? And I'm just like, okay. And the cricket walks up to the spider and has a really big antennae or feelies and is slapping them around. And the spider, you can tell, is getting irritated because the spider is trying to not move. So I don't see the spider. So I don't like react. And I'm like, listen, I will not hurt you. Just watching you so you don't run away. And he gets so irritated at this cricket that he books it at him. Like, get off me. And I'm just like, oh my god. And the spider tries to climb up onto my nightstand, went behind the nightstand, behind this chair, and was over here last time I saw it, but it was just, we couldn't get into this corner, because I have all my stuff, right here. I have a bunch of stuff. But it's just like, now I don't know where he is. He could be anywhere. I sat here last night watching stuff, doing things, and I was just terrified he was just going to show up on my shoulder, because that happened before, where, I mean, like, I was younger. It was, so, the problem is, I know how big it was on my shoulder, that I was in elementary, middle school, so I'm gonna assume it was one of those big spiders, but I was just really small. It wasn't middle school, it was elementary school, I'm pretty sure. And then I just remember going like, nope, knocking him off my shoulder and ran upstairs because it was in the basement. Boy, oh boy, terrifying. Big spider. But, just because it's like, it crawled on you somehow, and I know it can like it itself is like, oh boy. For me, instantly, whenever something's on me, I like panic, and then I have to like instantly be like, no, calm down, and then solve the issue. But it was dark. Somehow it crawled on you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where it came from, and it freaked me out. Anyways, so I don't know where that spider is, but a poor cricket. I don't know what the cricket, like, I've seen smaller spiders take out bigger prey than that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, why did you try to I don't know, like, what are you doing, cricket? But anyway. You good? Chill. So anyways, so what happened is, did I tell you about the meanest or angriest spider I had? Because there's this really, really angry spider, and my sister's like, there's a small spider, and I was like, okay, and we're the only two. We moved out, and we were living together in this apartment, in university, and I had a cup, and it was a clear cup. It's the only cup I had. I'm like, oh, it's a small spider, it's fine. I've done this a million times. I go, and he's in attack position. He's ready to kill me. And I was like, oh, whoop, cup on him. And I'm like, okay. But the problem is I can't put my hand away. You know why? Because he's attacking. Like, he is now jumping inside this cup. So there's no moving my hand away from this cup, or else he's going to knock down this cup. This little plastic see-through cup. And so I put the paper under him, and I pick him up, and I'm looking at him in front of my face. And he is hitting the cup so much that my cup is twitching. Like, it is impact every time he's jumping at it. And I'm like, excuse me? So now I'm like putting my face away from him. Like, if he gets out of the cup, he's going to kill me. He's going to like, I wouldn't even know if a spider jumped on my face and was in I'm attack, like I'm going to put my fangs in you position, meaning he will bite my face. I wouldn't even know how to react. So I take him, right? I put him outside. I put him outside the front door of the apartment, and which is outdoors. And I fling him out of the cup and paper, and I slam the door because I'm like, I don't want him to attack me. And we're like, we gotta go get dressed because we're about to leave. So we get dressed, and I open the door. He's still there. So I like, what do we do? But we have to leave. There's no other way out, and there's no other door we can escape from, and there's no other way to like walk around. It's in our way. So I open the door. I look at him. Like, okay, what's our plan? You know. So I look at him. He looks at me, and he recognizes me as the person who just let him outside. So I think he's confused. I'm like, okay. So we started walking around the spider. The spider watches us he turns with us to watch us. Like, okay. And it was such a funny thing that I started walking away, and I guess he must have realized that we weren't going to kill him, but he thought we would. And he was so shocked that we didn't kill him that he didn't want to kill us anymore, which is such a funny thing. It was such a weird thing that it was so intelligent and so mad and recognized us, and it was such a weird phenomenon. I don't know if it is a phenomenon, I don't know. But it was such a weird event. And again, we changed our clothes. So it's not like he recognized our clothes. He recognized me. He recognized me because he was watching me. He recognized me. He knew he was trying to attack me. And then he didn't anymore. So then I was like, ooh, the spider. I hope he doesn't feel like I was attacking him by taking his photo and video of him. But, oh man, I felt so bad with scaring bugs before, because some of them are really just terrified. Yeah, one time I jumped off my bed and I sat on the floor. Should have realized I had allergies sooner. But anyways, I jumped to the floor because my tiny dog wanted to play. He's like, I want to play now. And I'm like, you know, that dog, like, play. So I was like, okay, play. Sure, play. So I go and I get a ball, and I go to put my knee on the ground. And as I put my knee to the ground, I lift it up because it's in pain, and the dog, like, ball. And I throw the ball, but I'm like, ow, my knee really hurt. I look, and there's just a gush of just blood. Like, not enough, like, no blood was on the carpet or anything, but just a gush of blood is just coming down my knee. And something must have just hit it perfectly, but then when I cleaned it off, I realized there was two perfect little, so I'm like, a spider or something with two prongs that were really close together bit my knee, and it was just like a blood running down my leg. And I'm like, oh. So, I don't know where that came from. The reason I, like, where the bite come from and when and where did it go. But yeah, the reason why I said that is because there was, we as a family, I have one sister who definitely does not believe in ghosts and then one that does. So we watch BuzzFeed Unsolved, and so we have a nice little moment. But it's really funny because BuzzFeed Unsolved, Supernatural has some of the best evidence of ghosts being real apparently out there, which is a very funny idea that it has the best true evidence, I guess. So anyways, what happened is that there was one house in a recent episode, or in the recent episode, where the Exorcist house. The Exorcist? Is it The Exorcist? I'm going to say yes. Where the lady that lived there had a prick in the leg, and then there was blood on, like, around her leg. And she was like, I looked for, like, bees, but there was nothing there. And I'm like, girl, you live in, I think they said, somewhere in New England state kind of area. And I'm just like, yeah, it's a spider. And bugs can also make you bleed and stuff too. But I'm like, girl, could have easily just been a spider. You never find those suckers if they run away, you know? But 100% could have been just a spider that bit her. Because, yeah, usually it's if they get irritated, they will do it, but they won't just bite you for fun and profit. But, well, the profit would be to try to get away from the person attacking them trying to get rid of you. But yes, anyways, yeah, one time we have a bunch of daddy long legs too, and there was one that we got outside, and he was a timid little thing that is like, no, don't touch me, oh no, oh no. We throw him out, and then we see another one. I'm like, oh my god, another daddy long leg, right? I look at him, and again, instantly fighting stance, like, I'm going to rip you to shreds. And I'm just like, chill, okay, how about you don't do that, and instead I throw you outside. And we threw him outside. But it was so funny that, like, in a span of 5 minutes, just completely two different personalities in these spiders, which is really funny because people don't realize that bugs have personalities, or especially even small bugs have personalities, like a daddy long leg or a spider. Where tarantulas, you know, you're like, oh, okay, maybe they have different personalities, but I'm like, no, tiny ones too, or they have different personalities. And it's so interesting. I think Dominic Monaghan, he mentioned that he grew up raising, I think it was him, raising black widows, and he said there was one really timid one, and then one like outgoing one, or like fearless one. And just the idea that, like, A, keeping black widows funny, but B, because like I grew up with black widows being here. You don't want a black widow near you. You know, you don't want a black widow in your house. So it's like, oh no, what color is the spider? Black. Is it a black widow? No, it's not. You know, you can just tell it's not a black widow. But I grew up with black widows being here. And anyway, so raising black widows and having them have different personalities is such a funny thing to think about for me, because it just, like, that was one of the first times where I'm like, yeah, they would have personalities, you know?